Hi people, it's Archivist here, and with everyone talking about their game of the year now that the year is coming to an end, I'm going to name mine as it is, as the footage may suggest, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yes, that's right, this isn't a joke, I actually do mean that. And I suppose that is indicative of two things. Number one, I do think that Modern Warfare, despite some flaws, is the best Call of Duty title we may have ever had. And that's coming from someone who has been critical of the game, but on the whole, when you add up all the benefits, I do consider it to maybe be the best Call of Duty title we've ever had. And that is an honest opinion. And also it's indicative of the fact that this year has been a little bit lackluster. There hasn't been that obvious title that I would like to name Game of the Year this year. Like, I'm naming Modern Warfare, but it's not an entirely no-brainer decision. So last year, for example, there were loads of great Game of the Year contenders. The three ones that come to mind would be Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man on PlayStation 4, and God of War. And God of War would probably be my Game of the Year, if not my Game of the Decade. And then if you go to a year like 2015, a lot of people would say The Witcher, for example, was the obvious Game of the Year. It was this fantastic RPG, and it's just cemented CD Projekt Red as one of the greatest developers of our time. And this year, there hasn't really been that obvious choice. There hasn't been that standout experience that makes me think, yes, this deserves to be named my Game of the Year. I thought it might have been Death Stranding. I was expecting something different from Death Stranding, but unfortunately I cannot name it my Game of the Year. It's just too specific in terms of who it's catering to. I was debating Control, a single-player game by Remedy, which is focusing on the supernatural, and I haven't talked about on this channel, but is really, really good. But I realised that as much as I enjoyed playing through it, it hasn't hooked me and kept me coming back as much as Modern Warfare. So if we focus on Modern Warfare, and why am I actually saying it's my Game of the Year? Well, I have to look at four factors. Whenever I used to review games, I used to talk about four factors that mattered to me. The first factor was story, and I think the campaign in this game is great. It's quite short, but in terms of what's there, the production value is amazing, the voice acting is amazing, the overall narrative and the situation is incredibly strong. The campaign in this game is great, and I hope they continue to make campaigns in Call of Duty titles, and the Black Ops 4 was simply an anomaly. Then I would move over to gameplay as my second category, and the gameplay in Modern Warfare, or I suppose the gunplay to be more specific in a shooter, is just class leading. I really can't compare any other game to it. I mean, Battlefield is certainly close, but there's something about the way the guns feel and handle and the satisfaction you get from taking someone out that is simply unparalleled in any other experience. That's the simple truth of it, guys. It is just unrivaled in terms of that. So the gameplay is also amazing. And then the graphics, well, this is the best looking PS4 Pro 60 FPS game there is. There's a debate as to whether it's the best graphics overall, but if we look at the frame rate budget of 60 FPS, it's the best looking game there is. And I don't think there's anything that comes really even close. It's got a decent resolution, the actual effects of the engine are amazing. It's, in terms of graphics, I have no qualms putting it like a 10 out of 10. And then there's lasting appeal, which was my final category. And lasting appeal in this is fantastic. And with the multiplayer, not only can you just keep playing it over and over again and get a slightly different experience every time, but there's also this battle pass system, which means that every season we're going to get new things to unlock. And while I don't really care about the call signs or the emblems, I like the fact we're getting new guns. So there's going to be a reason to keep coming back to this game, to keep playing it, and to keep unlocking new items, and to keep getting better. So when I look at those four categories for which I used to rate games by, it really just nails all of them. The issues with this game are outside of that. I mean, I've talked about it before, so I won't belabor the point now, but matchmaking is my biggest issue with the game by far, by a long shot. The second one is that it can just feel a little bit chaotic, hard to predict where other players are, but I don't consider that too much of an issue. It really is all the matchmaking, but if you disregard that, I love this game. I think it's a fantastic experience, and yeah, it's a shame they didn't just do the matchmaking a bit differently, to be honest. Otherwise, I would have no qualms, no hesitation whatsoever about making my game of the year. But with that in place, I make it my game of the year, but with a slight caution. And I get that this is going to sound crazy because people like to laugh at any kind of critical acclaim against Call of Duty, but you know what? Call of Duty is a franchise that has always had effort and content put into it. It's just that Activision will always inject these extra bits of bullshit that piss people off. That's the reality of it. It's always been a good franchise. It's always been a well-made franchise. It's just been one that has been mired in controversy since, I don't know, really, I feel as if going back to Ghosts or even Modern Warfare 3. So whenever someone names it their game of the year, you're not going to get great feedback, but I wouldn't be saying this unless I honestly felt it. And again, you know, I have considered other titles. I've considered Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I've considered Control, which are very narrow runners up for me. But I have to name Call of Duty Modern Warfare my game of the year 2019. As always, people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.